Values that change the world, or that can change the world, or may change the world. That's the title I've given to this short series of sessions. What I mean by values is going to be quite broad. I don't just mean moral values or personal values. I mean a wide range of different things here, and we'll touch on some of them as we go along. I'm hoping it's going to be useful to talk to you about some of the things that I find important and some of the things that I've learned on my journey, or some of the things that I'm thinking about right now, because there are some ideas that are coming up in books that I'm reading that I'm finding exciting, and I'd love to share those with you in the next few weeks. So I'm also including attitudes, ways of thinking, some of the skills that you might need to develop, and so on. We won't cover everything, but we'll see how far we can get. Another important thing is that it's all about stories. Stories are immensely important, and we're going to come back to that in another session, probably in the next session, about the importance of stories. And I was moved by the prayer that we heard at the beginning, because that was also about the values that we hold dear. I'm going to also throw in, as we go along, not so much today, but in the next couple of weeks, a few other challenges and puzzles and one or two fun things that you can do, or that you can take away and do in between the sessions. Because that's another thing that I really believe very strongly, is that learning needs to be fun. It should always be fun. If you're not having fun, you're not going to learn. If you do have fun, and if you're having fun with other people, the amount that you're going to learn and the amount that you're going to remember is going to be massively more. So please have fun. If you're not having fun, tell me. And it's difficult, of course, online. I really wish that we could be together in one place, that I could actually meet you face to face. Maybe in the future, some of you that might happen, and I look forward to that. So there's our sort of schedule. Today we'll mention some values. It's not specifically about values today, but it will mention values. Next week, truth. What an important word truth is, and integrity. But truth is so much in the news these days, and we're thinking about what actually is truth. How do we find it? How do we know when we see it? And how do we know when we're seeing something that is not true, that is false? We're going to have a little look at that. And curiosity. I'm very interested in this concept of curiosity, and I hope that we can explore that a little bit next week as well. And that will be a value-based session. The third week we'll look at the difference between leadership and leadership skills, and what everybody needs. And then the final session is going to be something that is based around your ideas and your questions. So please, between now and the 24th of June, or perhaps between now and the 20th of June, to give us a little preparation time, please send your ideas in to Miss O or to any of the other leaders from Young and Dynamic, who will collect interesting questions and interesting comments, and then we'll build the final session around your questions so that it becomes more relevant to you, and we'll have a bit of a conversation about that. Of course, if you have questions during today's session, absolutely fine. Please do put them into the chat. Somebody will be collecting them. I think Praise will be collecting them, and at the end of my little talk, we'll have time for a bit of a conversation if people want to ask things then. Finally, a very important thing. I'm well aware that everything that I will say comes from my own culture and my own experience and my own perspective, and that might not always be the same as yours. And so please feel free to decide when you think I'm talking nonsense, or if it doesn't match your own reality. And if you think that I should change something that I've said, or I've said the wrong thing, please don't hesitate to be critical. But I hope that that kind of cultural perspective might be interesting in itself, because you'll hear from somebody who's coming from a different place. But I'll try not to make too many assumptions. And if I do, I ask your forgiveness in advance. I might make a few remarks that are a bit provocative. I'm not trying to stir you up, I promise. I just want to encourage you to think. So let's see about changing the world. You've taken a very, very important step here today, because you've chosen to come here. You've chosen to come and spend some of your free time to listen to an old white guy from London who you've never met, and you don't really know what to expect. But taking that step and being together with all of these other wonderful young and dynamic young people is an important step, not just in your personal development. It could be an important step in your whole career. The fact you're doing this here also shows, I think, that you believe in some shared values. You've got things in common with each other. And you've got a kind of a common identity. And I've noticed in the chat when you were joining that many people said, "Hello, family." And I thought that was wonderful. Wonderful to hear that you think of this group of people, many of whom you don't actually know personally, but they're your family. They're still a family. And what a great advertisement that is for the Young and Dynamic program and for the Higher Life Foundation, that they create that kind of culture in this group. I really appreciate that. I think it shows you're also internationally minded people. You're here with friends from several countries. And it means you're really world citizens. That's terribly important, because the big issues that are facing the leaders and the citizens of every single country at the moment are serious issues. They are important issues, but they are your issues. They don't just belong to those leaders. They belong to you. And what kind of world do we need right now? We need a world of ideas. And you are contributing to that world of ideas. So I guess you also believe in the future. You must do, I'm sure. By being here, you are also showing you've got the energy and the ambition to shape that future, that you want to be involved, you want to be taken seriously. You want, I hope, to change the world or to make a contribution to a better world. Perhaps you are thinking of yourself as a leader in the future in politics, or in administration, or in business, or in some other area. But maybe you just want to do good in the world. So I want to look at this, use this first session to look in general at the question of the relationship between young people and the people who actually have the power and authority now. And I hope that will contribute to your thinking about your future projects, help you to consider what the options are if you actually do want to create change in the world.